Om Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to another Yoga Small Talk, and we continue with 7 minutes Bhagavad Gita a day. We're reading from chapter 6, the Yoga of Meditation, and we have started reading verse 11. So let's read it again. 11. In a clean spot, having established a firm seat of his own, neither too high nor too low, made of a cloth, a skin, and kusha grass, one over the other. Let's unpack what are the instructions that we are given here. In a clean spot, Swami Shivananda tells us, sit on a naturally clean spot, such as the bank of a river, or make the place clean wherever you want to practice meditation. So some places, at least at the time Swami Shivananda wrote this, you can find there natural cleanliness, and you can sit there and meditate, or if you are at home or any other place, you can clean the place. But cleaning the place doesn't only mean mopping. Of course, that's included. The place needs to be physically clean, but also energetically clean, meaning that we remove any other vibrations that came there during the day. So, for instance, you can do arati, the offering of lights, or you can, which is a very simple, relatively something to do, or you can discuss with your teacher how to best clean the space. But it's very important to remind ourselves that since meditation is primarily a practice of the mind, we also need to think how to clean the atmosphere from non-conducive energies and vibrations. So this is one thing about keeping the place clean. So the place is clean, but of course also the meditator should be clean. It's not mentioned here. Almost goes without saying. If the place is very clean, but I come there and my body is not clean, and I'm wearing dirty clothes, how can I even think about finding purity, which is what's needed for meditation? If I am not sattvic, impure, how can I reach purity? Now, of course, one of the principles, again, in the foundations of the yamas and the niyamas, one of the observations is cleanliness, saucha. And the principle of cleanliness teaches us that we can never be really clean because of what goes on inside our body. Not to mention what goes on inside our mind, but the idea is to get ourselves to a reasonably clean condition. So we shower and we put on clean clothes, preferably clothes that are only dedicated to the practice of meditation, so they are absorbed with the vibration of our practice, and like this we come to this practice. Having established a firm seat of his own, being able to sit steadily, and we will see much more about it as we go through verse 13 that describes how to sit. And the cushion, the setting, should not be too high, not be too low, so that we will be comfortable sitting. This is very, very, very individual, depending on how open one's hips are. Of course, the practice of asanas can help with this, but it's best to ask a yoga teacher to show the teacher the sitting posture and to get advice if this is appropriate for my individual body or not. Of course, we also feel if we are not comfortable all the time, probably the seat needs some adjustment, but best to have a teacher look at it and give instructions on what's the best height, depending on our physical ability and the flexibility of our hip joints. And then the seat itself should be made of a cloth, a skin, and kusha grass, one over the other. Now, most of us will probably not deal with skins, and even this was not meant so that people will go and hunt animals. This was the skin of an animal who died under natural circumstances. But for many of us, also kusha grass, which is a very special grass that grows in India, is not available. The idea is to energetically separate ourselves from the ground, because our body naturally tends to ground, meaning to exchange energy with the ground. And when we do the practice of meditation, we want to keep the energy in our body and direct it in a certain way so that we can increase the level of our consciousness. So if we constantly ground, it's counterproductive. So here the cloth, the skin, and the kusha grass, one over the other, are like an insulation layer. Nowadays, we use sometimes the artificial materials like the rubber mats, some specialized cushions made with seeds, and we can always put either a cotton cloth or wool, preferably white, which will inspire even more purity, over our cushion and not be too worried with that. But the idea is to think about each and every detail, because it's the more we think about it, the more we prepare for it, the more we are aware of the aspects, for instance, to preserve the energy in the body, to keep the place clean, to keep myself clean, the more meditation will be assisted and accessible to us, of course, provided that we realize that this is a lifestyle and not a half an hour a day hobby. So this is the teaching here, and more details on how to sit for meditation. Those are more the practical details on how to do the practice. We will see in the next videos. So please join us. Om Shanti.